So for this video I'm going to show you a really simple dish. It's a casserole, chicken casserole, and I'm using leftovers. I have some potatoes, some new potatoes I've got left over, a nice sized carrot, an onion. I've got 2 chicken leg stroke thighs. That came nice and cheap, and I have de-skinned it already. I've then got a tin of plum tomatoes and I've chopped them up in the bowl. In addition to that, I've got a bit of leftover lager that I'm going to put in, as well as some salt, some pepper, some bouillon, some mixed herbs, and then to give it a bit of depth right at the very end and a bit of thickness if it needs it, we've got some gravy granules, they're beef gravy granules. Right, so let me show you how to put it all together. Dead simple, and it's one of those recipes where you can just leave it. Once it's in, you can just leave it. So if you're playing radio, nip in here while the bands are dead, get it made. We're going to put it into a slow cooker. It's going to take 2.5 to 3 hours, give or take. It's ready when it's ready. So you can go back on your radio when the bands are back up and see what's going on and play radio for 3 hours. And don't worry, you're cooking tea at the same time. Right, so first of all I'm going to peel the carrot, and then we're going to chop it up very easily. I'll take it nice and slowly for you. Oh, we won't go too fast. We can cut it, slice, we can peel it up quite roughly. But I'm just going to chop the ends off and just make it easier to work with. I'm going to cut it in half. Then I'm going to slice it down its length, and then we're just going to very nicely chop it. And one technique with the knife is to slide the knife through the carrot. Don't try and force it right through, slide it nicely like that. Okay? And you see the action there. That'll help stop bruising on the carrot itself. Okay? And one more time. And then it's going straight into the slow cooker. No messing about. Next one is we're going to peel the onion. Not the best of onions. That's alright. We'll take the middle out. And we just take the peel off. There'll be enough onion there to give it a nice taste. If you've got any leeks left over from anything else, or you're planning on making one of these and you've been making a leek as well, been working with a leek, just save yourself a bit of leek as it goes nicely with the onions. It's one of your aromatics along with the onions and the carrots. So I'm just going to slice that again. Not, use the whole lot with that, can't not too finely, otherwise it'll just disappear, but at the same time not too coarsely, otherwise it'll do it a little bit too crispy when you finish. There we go. Just cut the edges off as well. Make full use of as much as we can with the onion. Now with the potatoes. If you look at the potatoes, you'll notice that that's flatter or thinner than that side. So what I want to do is I want to cut them from pole to pole, so that's from that end to that end, but through the thinnest part, so I end up with 2 finer slices. That way it's going to cook just that little bit quicker. Straight in we go. So I can cut them up like I did last time, or I can cut them up even smaller. If the new potatoes are quite big, cut them up a bit smaller. If you were using let's say embossed pipe potatoes or white potatoes, and you peeled them, if you cut them up small, eventually they will break down and they will make your dish quite a bit thicker. I'm just going to get rid of that for a second. Now, chopped tomatoes, in we go. To that I'm going to add a teaspoonful, I say a teaspoonful, it's a very heaped teaspoonful of vegetable bouillon. Now that's like a stock cube, but instead of it being solid, it's just in powder form. I'm going to use again a level teaspoon thereabouts of mixed herbs. Put some pepper in for seasoning. It's up to you how much you want to put in. And some salt for seasoning. You perhaps don't want to put too much in. Then, right, the beer. Okay, I had this left over, I hear you say. How could you leave some beer over? If you know you're cooking the next day, sometimes that's what you do. We'll get rid of those for a second. The thing we're going to do now is just give it a quick stir. So I want to stir in all the flavours I put in and all the ingredients I put in. Well, that then, you see that it's about half full. I don't want much more than that. Because what I want to do next is to put some water in. That's right, so I'm going to put some boiling water in. I'm just going to swirl the rest of the tomato juice out of there. Maybe again. Thank you. Something had to fall over. So I'm just going to top it up, but not too high. So it's now about 3/4 full. Get the chicken. I'm going to force it down inside. Let me other piece of chicken, force it down the other direction. And make sure that all the chicken is covered. If it's not, then I'm going to add some more water. Just add a tiny bit, I don't want to add too much. Okay. It's now standing about an inch to an inch and a half from the top. Now the reason why I've had boiling water is it gives it a fighting chance to start. Okay. So I'm going to just switch it on, make sure it's on high. We're going to leave it now. I'm going to set the timer for 2.5 hours, then I'm going to come in and check it. I'm hoping But when I do check it, the chicken is cooked off the bone and I should be able to pull the bones out. So there we have it. All made, all in the pan. It's just going to cook by itself now. I've set the timer for 2.5 hours. I use boiling water to start the process going, so it should be quite warm in there already. After 2.5 hours I'm going to come and check it, see if the chicken's fallen off the bone. If it's not quite cooked or the vegetables are still raw, another half an hour. It'll be done by then, because it's about an inch off the top. Now with your own slow cookers, if you've got a bigger one, you're going to have to check. Just keep checking the food, make sure it's cooked. You've got to know when the chicken's cooked, when it comes off the bone. If you leave it too short a time, yeah, the chicken will be fine if it's cooked, but it will not come off the bone and you'll be having a casserole with bones in. If you cook it too long, the chicken will break down even further into little strands and just disappear into the casserole. So with one that size, 2.5 hours to 3 hours, job's done. In that case then, time to play on radio again, isn't it? See you in a bit. And here we have it. It's 3 hours later. Power now turned off. Still bubbling away. If we just get a fork now and we pull that chicken out, we should see that it's starting to fall away from the bone. Look at that. Just coming away nicely. What I will actually do is I'll leave the chicken in there while it cools down, and then when it's cool enough I'll just pull it out and we'll pull the bones out, or just pull what's left of the bones. You can see as well that the carrots are nicely done, the potatoes are nicely done, just slightly breaking up. The thing about this is it will still carry on cooking. So although it's been turned off, you can see it bubbling still. And although it's been turned off, it will still carry on cooking itself until it's cooled down. You might want to leave it about an hour if you want to put it to one side. If not, eat it more or less right away. What I'm doing now is I'm just putting some gravy powder in, and I'm going to thicken it up with the gravy powder. You can see as I'm starting to look at that coming straight up. We'll get that in the bin. There we go. I'll feel another one as well. So it's all coming apart now as I'm stirring it. Yeah, lovely. Absolutely lovely. Okay, I'm just going to sprinkle a bit more in. There we go, and it's thickening up nicely now. Okay, so those bones still not quite coming away yet. Like I say, if you just leave them, it will carry on cooking. That one's come away actually, so I'll have that one as well. Come on, up you come. There we go. Oh, well, that's hot. Now, the gravy that I'm using, gravy grounds that I'm using, quite strong in the taste, but at the same time they don't thicken up very well. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to taste it. That's absolutely gorgeous, is that? What I do have tucked away are some gravy granules that will thicken up without tasting. Basically, they're the cheap end of the market. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle those in. They don't have a strong taste at all. And mix that in. Now the idea is if you mix the gravy in while it's hot, the gravy granules will dissolve. You can see the chicken still breaking up as well. That's absolutely lovely. They will dissolve properly. If I can feel another ball in there. There we go. It's still, that hasn't quite come away. It will do. It will do. Yeah. As it starts to cool down now, if that's what you want, it will thicken up a bit more. If not, if you want to eat it now, then we'll just add a little bit more of the cheap gravy granules. There we go. And that will thicken it right up now. Okay. Check little bones sticking out there. Also a good idea to get rid of those. There we go. That's absolutely lovely. So there's only one thing left to do. Eat it. So what I'm going to do now, try a small portion of it, see what it tastes like. That's a very small portion, a little bit of everything, a little bit of potato, just nice and tender. A little bit of chicken, plain and absolutely lovely. Tomato sauce. You can just taste that lager in the background. You taste all the other ingredients. They brought up the flavours, bit of salt, bit of pepper, bit of bouillon stock, and the gravy granules just give it that little bit extra depth. I'll not torture you any longer. Enjoy making it yourself, enjoy eating it. It's so easy to make, and you can just put it to one side. You don't have to eat it now. You can cool it off, put it in the microwave. You've got a meal for tomorrow if you need to. Or if you're going to cook it in the morning, get it ready for tea. Again, just let it cool down, put it in the microwave. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you have a good go at it. I hope you enjoy eating it. So for now, 73s. So please, press that subscribe button and give us a nice thumbs up.